Greetings, and welcome to a Friday episode of Vaygrim's Chance. What a busy couple of days we've got. Well, first of all, the mod pack has been updated on this server. We're running 1.3.2, which means the next world download you're going to have to be using 1.3.2 from the AT launcher. I'll make sure to make notes of that on the curse page where it downloads. It's fine. But that's not the biggest change of all over the last couple of days. I really got build happy, and as you can see, our little observatory has grown. This is a walkway. I'm not done with it yet. Not done with this one either. Right about there where the bump out is, I want to make a rounder kind of a space that I can turn into green space and plant a tree. I think that'd be really cool. Make it a little bit wider, put a park bench there, stuff like that. Couple of park benches. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I think that could be really cool. Yeah, so I don't have the top levels for everything made. If we go over here, you can see that I have moved Thaumcraft in here. That is temporary. What I want to actually do is get that and lower it down to ground floor. And I'm going to put all the stabilizer stuff underneath it right there. It's just going to come straight down in a column. But some of the things I want to use for stabilizers are mob skulls. And mob skulls we're not going to be getting until we actually get our mob farm up and going. Come on. So I am going to have a top level up here. And I think it's going to be at or just above the level for the blood altar. Because I do want to put a blood altar in here. Yeah, so you walk over here. This takes you over towards the model village, which means we have several different routes now. This is also starting to look much more like a large, contiguous, construction kind of a thing. We come over here. This is back in the top garden area. And as you can see, like I've got this cross-connecting. I am actually going to do another, I don't know why there's a dark spot there. I'm going to do another lower section that cross-connects, just like I have over here. I'm just going to get that and mirror it over here for the actual tech center. That's going to be really cool. I've got this transparent walkway that heads over to this dome of doom and gloom. I decided to make this solid because it is supposed to be dark and spooky and whatever. I'm actually going to light up the inside of it a bit, but that's going to have to wait until we can actually get some dark glass to pave over this. What I want to do is I'm going to do some dark glass all the way across the top as a floor, so you'll be able to walk across this and look straight down. I'm going to have mob spawners that are going to be ringing, I think, the middle. Or, how do I want to do this? Basically, I need to make sure that I have a setup that is going to be fairly well laid out. Now, we have a couple of options. First of all, somebody has stated, they pointed out something I knew but forgot, okay? Because I haven't had to mess with it in a while. So, if we go to Ender.io, and you notice we actually have the mob spawners right here. These powered spawners only work if we are using them in terms of wither skeletons. I can't use this to spawn a wither skeleton in the overworld. It'll just spawn a normal skeleton. So what I'm going to have to do is make a special room that only powers wither skeletons. I mean, that only spawns wither skeletons. I did that in season 2. I'm going to put that in the nether. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the hub. Whoops, come back. The actual nether hub that we actually, well, the nether portal we have. Go over here real quick. I don't know why I have these dark spots down here, but it bothers me. There we go. So right over here is the actual ag dome. If the server ever actually loads. This is one of these things I'm starting to get tired of with Forge. It's kind of pointless having a pretty world if most of it doesn't exist at any given point in time. There we go. So right there is the nether portal. That is the community nether portal. On the other side of that, in the nether, I'm going to do some construction. And I'm actually going to put a room in there that spawns blazes I'm going to put another room in there that spawns wither skeletons, and generally lock those two off and set those away, and people can go get stuff as they need it. But over here, I'm going to do skeletons, zombies, Endermen if I can, and stuff like that. Now, the big problem I have with Endermen is that we're going to have to be careful because Endermen will teleport when you do damage to them. I think that the actual Killer Joe with this thing will do enough damage that it will kill them in one shot. I don't know if they'll teleport. They can't really teleport. They have to teleport within a certain range. And there's no lower walkway. There's just this upper walkway. I don't know, though. Here's the problem. I don't know if this is close enough that they'll end up in the model village. Now, they're not going to harm the villagers, but I don't want a whole bunch of Endermen ending up over there. So we're going to have to experiment. I might have to turn the Ender spawner on temporarily and run it for a little while and see what happens with the Enderman. Now, here's my plan. There is another thing in Ender.io called an attraction obelisk. Okay? I've never used this thing before. That's it. Nope. Weather obelisk, experience. There we go. Attractor obelisk. It attracts mobs towards it. I think this is actually a brilliant idea. Well, that's kind of lopsided. Now it's not lopsided. Okay, let's get this and break this out. I'm going to do this, and that looks a little less wonky. Okay. This is how I did this construction. I did the cylinder, and then I did the dome separately. How I did this thing, this outer walkway, is basically I put a builder right there on the central elevator, right? In this top left corner. Or I guess actually bottom right corner, technically, because north's that way. So in this southeast corner, I put a builder. And then I set it on circle, 2 blocks high, 98 by 100. And that just barely connected this outside lip. And then I did it again on a smaller measurement. Or no, it was 94. What was it? Yeah, 94 by, or no, it was 98 by, it was 90 by, oh gosh, I'm forgetting now. It was like 90 by 98. And then it was 98 by 106. That's what it was. And those are the two measurements. And that put it exactly. So I just filled out this part and that part. When I want to do it again, once we finally get the arboretum put in, I'll cross connect again and we'll have another circle. And this will make a big giant kind of a loop. And then we'll have the other smaller, lower platforms. Now, what I'm also considering is getting from right here, instead of putting a green space here, what I'm considering doing is making a walkway that connects to that strut right there. And then having a circular part that's kind of suspended by these two struts that is a park. I could do one here, and then I could do one over there. We could have different kind of themes or different looks to them. It could be really, really nice. I'm not sure, though. But this is basically how things are shaping up. The observatory is getting very big very quickly. Yeah. This whole setup, I've been planning for and getting some parts ready. We're going to have the spawners down here. So what I figure is we put a ring of the spawners. I can put the Endermen all the way over on the far side, which means they're even less likely to generate and then immediately warp. But what I can do is, as we get the spawners, we'll get a spawner, turn it on, and then I'll capture another soul from one of those guys, and I'll put it in the attraction obelisk, and I put the attraction obelisk right on top of Killer Joe. That will mean that they'll get basically attracted to Killer Joe, and they'll stand right there in front of him, and I'll just block off the rest of the area. So what that should mean is they'll walk right to Killer Joe, and he will slaughter them. I think that's the plan. Real quick, though, first, before we go too far, I'm going to go down here. Let's see. First of all, we've had a whole bunch of updates in the mod pack. One update that we've actually had, Ender Utilities, has gotten a whole bunch of new content. Now, one of the things that we've actually got is this thing called a handy bag. It does a lot. There is a large version of it called a large handy bag. Well, I want to make one of these things. First, let's make a handy bag. Now, before I hit OK on this and pull it out, this uses enhanced ender alloy, which is specific to this mod. First of all, you get an ender pearl and two iron ingots, and that gives you 2 basic ender alloys. Then you get one of those and combine it with gold, and you get an enhanced alloy. This stuff does have EMC value. So this uses enhanced ender alloy, a couple of pieces of leather, a normal ender chest, which is an eye of ender surrounded by obsidian, and then some ender rope, which is string, leather, and an ender pearl. Get this and pull it out. I think. Don't we have everything here? Oh, no, I don't have the leather. Hang on a second. Let me just get the difference, and we can actually conjure the leather up. And I should be able to click that. Now, this has an upgrade. Real quick, I'm going to show you what this does. As long as this sits in your inventory, you see, I have extra inventory space. If I put a memory card here, suddenly all of these will highlight. Now, what I actually want to do, though, I'm going to put this right here. We're going to click this, then that. I need 2 more. Let's cancel that. Get the difference. I'm going to put that back. And we have the large handy bag. And I'll just show you real quick. I hit E, and that's what my inventory looks like. Suddenly, I have a load of space. If I put one of these here, all of these become usable, and anything put in these slots is saved to this memory card, which means I could take it out and put it somewhere and put another one in here, and it completely changes up. If I have this over here, I'm going to show you something real quick that's going to blow your mind. I'm going to put these here. Boop. They vanished. So yeah, it's also the fact that these things can store stacks of up to 64. That's the smallest memory card slot size. Well, what I want to do, I think I have some slime balls. Nope, I have had slime balls. Let's just get a stack of those real quick because I need to put them back in my inventory anyway. We're going to get 4 of these, put them there. We're going to get 2 slime balls, and we're going to stick them together into an 8-slot card. Right? We go over here. I'm going to do 8. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to change these out. We're going to do a 10. I'm going to repeat the same process. We're going to do a 10 slot. All right. 1, 2, 3. Let's put that back. And this is going to get me a 12 slot. I mean, a 12 card, 12 byte memory card, basically. I only need 1 of those for now. But what this means is, if you look, 1 stack of items can be up to 4,096. 1 stack in here. Is that awesome or is that awesome? We've got all of these functions. Like if I'm going to be doing a project, I can set that over there for now. Let's see. I'm going to get this and put it right there. So it's just going to sit in my inventory. I don't need to keep it on my hotbar. We have our crafting grid. If you need to actually get to your normal inventory, you do sneak E, and it shows you your normal inventory with your baubles. Then you can just go back to your enhanced inventory. It's really cool. Fill all existing stacks, restock, match existing. So if I was going to, let's say, get a whole bunch of lab blocks and put them in here, I could have 1 stack of 4,096 blocks, have 1 stack in my hotbar, and this will auto resupply. Very cool, and I'm very, very glad we have that on. By the way, this is me goofing around. I thought this would be really cool. I thought, you know, it's like one of those high-tech airports that have the moving sidewalks. You can just stand there and kind of relax a bit, and it takes you where you're going. I thought this was kind of funny. I thought it'd be really neat to have on the insides. Plus, you still have walking space right up the middle if you don't want to mess with them. So yeah, let's go over here real quick. I've expanded things a little bit. I have added a slice and splice. Now the slice and splice at mod.ender.io. Where is the slice and splice? Right there. It's really simple. It is solarium, which is basically you can grow that from essence. You have soul sand plus gold makes a solarium ingot. Really simple, and it does have EMC. You get a mob head of any kind, an iron axe, iron shears, put it in together with a machine chassis, and you get the slice and splice. Now, what we also made was a soul binder. This was a little more difficult because you need heads. Now, okay, here's the perk I'm going to show you. I went out with the Ender. I have now sharpness 5 and looting 3 on this, which means I have a lot greater chance of, as it says, increased skull and ender pearl drops. Enderman can't teleport once hit, which is awesome. That's the other perk of using Killer Joe with this sword, is that once Killer Joe hits the Enderman, they won't warp in panic. That's a very key part of this entire build that we have going on. This will prevent the Enderman from randomly teleporting, and that's good. So, now that we have looting 3 and this gives skull drops, well, what we did was I went out hunting with this, and I basically got a whole bunch of mob skulls from zombies, creepers, and skeletons. Now, here's the cool part. I need Enderman skulls, right? There's a recipe in the mod pack to make an Enderman skull from a regular skull. We added this. This was at the suggestion of, I can't remember if it was Greylock or Trunks9809, so I'm going to give them both the suggestion and give them both credit for it. But basically, they suggested this as a possible thing because Enderman can be kind of hard to find at times until you have a spawner. So I made an Enderman skull to make this. Once you get this, by the way, you just have to put an iron axe and shears, and it uses a little bit of damage every time you do something. Now, here's the downside. I need, in order to make spawners, I need broken spawners. Now, this is going to basically be a pig spawner because it was a bug. I picked up a witch's spawner with, I think, the moving wand, I can't remember, and replaced it with a block of cobblestone, and it gave me a pig spawner in return. What I'm going to have to go do, though, is find a whole bunch more of the witchery world gen so that I can find the Wickermen. Those have zombie and skeleton spawners in them. I'm going to have to get some witch spawners. I have to get these broken spawners because we're going to have to get this and combine it with, I think we have to combine it with a powered spawner. So yeah, basically what we want to do is we want to get more of these and combine them with the powered, there it is, powered spawner. Now, we have to get a powered spawner. It's empty, and you combine it with a creature. Now, I can't remember if it is a broken spawner that's required, or, now, if we need more of these, we're just going to have to go hunt them. Hopefully, this will do. So, I think my first choice is going to be probably witches. I want to mess with witches first, but we have to do zombies. Let's do order. It's going to be zombies, witches, Enderman. I want to get some of the other thermal foundation mobs. I think that'd be really cool. Skeleton next. Yes. Well, no, if I have Enderman, I don't need skeleton to make Enderman skulls. I have ghast. Ghast could be really cool, but I think I'm going to have to make an attractor obelisk to pull the ghast down. If the attractor obelisk works, then I can put the blaze in there because blazes fly. I don't have to worry about them getting too high in the chamber. I can attract them to the attractor obelisk. It's going to be a bit of a test. Hellhound is going to be for witchery. Spiders in general are going to be useful for string and for spider eyes. Only thing, this is not a normal skeleton. This is a wither skeleton, but it says normal skeleton. If I do it here in the overworld, it's going to be skeletons. If I take it into the end, another, it's going to, so I'm going to have to get another skeleton basically, which is not that big a deal. So these are the ones we're going to be working with. I'm going to make a powered spawner real quick, and then I will be right back. We can do a little bit of planning, see how things work, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, welcome back. By the way, real quick, liquid XP. I'm going to get, whoops, 2 levels out of here. I got this thing. It's called an experience rod. It's actually real easy to make. 2 solarium with 1 energetic alloy in the middle. Right click on a fluid tank containing liquid XP to gain levels. Shift right click to transfer levels into the tank. Now here's the thing. Normally Ender IO keeps its levels like this. It keeps it as a number in a machine. Killer Joe is going to have this same kind of a thing on it, and I'll be able to pull levels out of it. But if I get this and I shift right click, suddenly I've transferred this into liquid XP form. I actually have 12 and 3/4 basically buckets of liquid XP. Now, if you actually search NEI, there's only one kind of liquid XP. This liquid XP is actually from open blocks liquid XP, which means this liquid XP is transferable into other things that open blocks can use it for, which is very cool. I like that. So I can right click or shift right click and put all those back. It's real nice. I like it. So I've got 2 spawners that I actually made. I've got my soul vials. I think I'm gonna need, actually no, let's go over here. Let's grab all of these. I might need more, we'll see. I have an actual yep, dark steel slightly damaged. Wow, these things are durable. Most important right now is a zombie. I think I can get this empty one, put that there. No. Do I actually have to get a spawner fragment? Let's go get one. Let's see if I have to get this, if I have to get this pig spawner. I haven't had to mess with these in quite a while, so I'm a little rusty as to how these things work. I get this plus this. Can't remember. Let's go over here. Okay, yeah, so pig spawner plus zombie, 15 levels. Let's pay. Here we go. This will give us the spawner that we want. We now have a empty soul vial and a zombie spawner. Let's put that back up there. Go over here. I now have a powered spawner and a, that's going to take 30 levels. So what I need to do is we need to come over here. Let's do essence. Let's do that. I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna request even more essence. Get 44 bottles. Clear that out. Might need more. We'll see. Boost my level up a little bit. I'm hoping this is going to get me to 30. Might not. It is not. Okay. So we're going to have to do that again. Let's essence. I'm just going to get a full stack. Let's request some more. We want to be thorough. Make sure we have it all covered. Let's put that down here. Worst case scenario, we store the extra. $28, $29, $30. There we go. So now we get this empty spawner, this zombie. We have a powered zombie spawner. Very cool. I can now come back over here, liquidate the rest of these, and put those in there. Now, let's see. Let's march straight across here, across the top of our model village, all the way back to the monster grinder wing. I'm going to actually nab this tesseract because I haven't made a spare one. I'm going to just go down here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do real quick? Let's sleep real fast and make it daytime outside just for the sake of, you know, whatever. Put that back. So zombies, I'm just going to put somewhere right here. I'm gonna dig up some of the flooring all the way over to here. I'm actually gonna put, let's see. I want to have a platform up here. I don't think I want to run all the controls all the way up there. I don't think. I figure I'm going to have a hatch or some kind of an airlock system to come down into here. Yeah, okay. For now, I'm just going to do this. This is set to actually, let's do Observatory. Receive only. I've grabbed some of these. In theory, this should be extracting power. Let's just put one on either side. And we are going to run this all the way up here. Spawn. Active with a signal. There we go. So we don't want this thing going off all the time. We want to be able to control it, which is why we are going to put some redstone controls on this whole setup. I did not mean to put you there. Okay, so what I need to do is come over here. I'm gonna have to get down here. I really need to, yeah, I need to get under. We're gonna go to strong signal, in and out for the redstone. Let's go with red, sure. Let's stick with that. Let's put that back. Put that back. I'm going to douse these. This might turn this entire place into a monster spawner when I'm not here, but part of me is actually okay with that. You know what I'm going to do? Hang on a sec. Factory block. Let's... actually, no, I don't want to do it there. Let's put that there. I still have a little bit of light leaking up from under, but I'm not sure I can actually do much about that until I put some conduit facades on there. Next thing that we're going to want to do is grab a lever. Any random lever will do. And okay, there we go. That is going to be strong signal, which means now if I flip that, you'll see fire, and we're going to start getting zombies. In theory, I don't know if the light level is too low for them over there. Nope, it's not. Which means now, if we have this... Now, this is a slow spawner. Whoa. Specifically because we haven't boosted it at all with capacitors. So, we put a capacitor right here, and it would actually start spawning. Progress 81%, we locked it down. If we put a capacitor in there, like an octatic, it would not only spawn in a bigger area, it would spawn more monsters at once, and the spawning cycle would be faster. Now, the problem is, this thing is using 160 RF per tick. If we put a basic, not a basic, a double layer capacitor in here, it doubles to 320. And then it doubles again to 640. So I need to make sure I have a power infrastructure to support upgraded spawners before I actually upgrade them. But as it stands right now, we have a manual grinder. We are getting experience. We're getting loot drops. And it's basically just waiting. When we have multiple spawners in here, this wait will be less of an issue because we won't have to worry about all of these things. We won't have to worry about one because all of them will be running. So when one isn't spawning, some of the other ones will be. And you see, once you actually get it going, it's actually pretty good. For now, I'm going to turn that off and let it wind down. We do not need it on, but that is the basics. That's how you get a spawner up and working. The next step is going to be Killer Joe. Killer Joe, I'm not going to work on this episode. I'm going to get some parts together and we'll do it next episode. But what it requires is a vat. This is a vat. I have an infinite water source being pumped into it. That is a block from pressure pipes that goes in over here. And what we'll have to do is we'll put zombie flesh over here. We'll get some nether wart. Do we have some nether wart? We do. I'm just going to get a full stack. Let's get, nope, flesh. Get a full stack of that. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. I'm going to top that up, put that up, and you'll see it's a 1.5 multiplier and a 1.5 multiplier. Now, if we look, there are recipes that we can actually do for what we want is called nutrient distillant. Right here. Different things give different multipliers. Eventually, what we'll do, and this is instead of using zombie flesh, we'll use zombie heads. That gives more fluid because it's a 2 times multiplier instead of a 1.5. Over here, we actually have nether wart, which gives a 1.5. I actually think that's the best in this slot. So eventually we'll do zombie heads and nether wart to get us nutrient distillation. This thing will brew and it will slowly output. You notice we have a little bit right now, nutrient distillation in a bedrockium drum. So I'm going to get some of this going. I'm going to make a system that is going to pipe out over. I think I'm going to use a, not a tesseract, but I think I'm going to use an Ender IO dimensional transceiver and pipe it out over a private fluid channel for nutrient distillation. Then we can actually get all of that stuff and pipe it over to the monster den and we don't have to worry about things. So I'm going to leave things off here. Thank you very much for joining me for what is probably going to be a slightly longer than normal Friday episode, but we have a lot we have to get done and there's still more to do. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you guys later.